Hello, I'm Aubrey Shepherd, and we've got some watershed pictures today. Not unusual, but these are a little different from what you've seen, maybe. This is Frou Gallagher at Wright, who's the videographer for Government Channel and does volunteer shoots for CAT, or Fayetteville Public Access Channel, frequently. That's Bruce Shackleford. He's the consultant to the city who oversees the burns on the mitigation site, the wetland mitigation site at the West Side Treatment Plant, and that's called Woolsey Wet Prairie. Okay, right there you can see sort of a bad light day there, but the Fayetteville High School dig, we call it, where they were clearing it out and they're putting in underground water storage. Okay, here you can see an example of a lot that's lost its trees just recently. You can see a bunch of stumps out there. And here you can see new windows being placed in the hillside, Hill Place apartment complex. Thing's only been open for a year and a half, and already they're replacing the windows. Bad choice of material, maybe. That first one was a violet. They're very important to certain species of butterflies, especially the native violets, and there are many of those, but that one may have been a non-native. Okay, here's a flower of the, I believe this is a native, and it's a crabapple tree. This is one that was sent from the Arbor Day Foundation a few years ago, and it's grown beautifully. Okay, that's a non-native, but a very wonderful early source of nectar. And here's another early source of nectar for that honeybee this week. It was that's a vinca flower. And, well, we've jumped ahead to World Peace Wetland Prairie Flow Area, which I've shown you before to point out how important it is to hold the water where it falls and let it soak in, even on these small streamlets in your own yard. That's a non-native pear tree. It's a Callery pear, which is the wilder version, I think, that Bradford pears were created from. Bradford pears fruit's really small, and that thing doesn't have them very big. Okay, these are daffodils on World Peace Wetland Prairie's Peace Circle, and they're very, very many different ones. Some of them are heritage things that have been collected from old yards that were torn up and things like that, they're not bought ready-made ones. These are some special ones, though, and there are many different kinds at World Peace Wetland Prairie and all over Fayetteville right now. Cindy Cope keeps giving away bulbs and planting them herself. All right, let's see. We're looking at some ditch dredging going on at 15th Street, and that is the spout spring combined with the Tanglewood Branch just south of Walker Park, across the street. See, they ditched it out. This is the kind of thing we're trying to stop. Oh, they may have pushed a little debris into the edge of the creek in the process, but that collects there anyway, maybe. But this shouldn't be ditched. I mean, the vegetation needs to be there to hold the water. In fact, they've gone over outside the highway right away doing this. And you see that? That's a little vine that just happened to get caught on, had started growing up the stem of something else. And it just looked like little string at first until I noticed the pod. And of course, that's a milkvine or vining milkweed. Till next time, this is Aubrey Shepherd asking you to do your part to help keep the water clean, the air pure, and the woods green. See ya. Hi, it's Aubrey Shepherd again with another short take about watershed issues. And this time we've got pictures from a couple of streams. Primarily, however, it's the combination of Spout Spring Branch, which comes from edge of Mount Sequoia, and the Tanglewood Branch, which comes from the Dixon Street area. That's why I'm wearing a Dixon Street shirt today, to remind you that when you're on Dixon Street, you're sending water down these pristine streams. Don't spill your beer in there. Anyway, the Arkansas Highway Department dug this ditch out this morning. Now, they made it apparently a lot wider than it's ever been. You notice that a landscape item was removed from a row of landscape items, probably on private property there. See how much it's set back? The sidewalk zigs around there because there's been a ditch there for a long time, but they made it a lot wider. They almost got to the telephone pole. They almost got to the electrical box. And you can see that landscape item again, just hanging on, and clearly one was removed that was in front of it. Anyway, this is all wrong for protecting our watershed. And this water does go to Beaver Lake Watershed, and it comes right off the street through storm drains. It's not protected in any way. Okay, what is that? I showed that in my other short take. That's a vine milkweed seed pod. And there you can see some of the actual seeds. And I'd like everybody to notice milkweed seed pods and consider taking some seeds and planting in your yard, your garden. And this particular kind you might want to plant by the fence because it won't hurt your fence. It won't hurt your trees. See, it's the little tiny, narrow, pale colored one there. And you'll see other vines it's often associated with in these pictures, such as honeysuckle, non-native honeysuckle, Japanese honeysuckle. They kill trees. They kill other shrubs. They kill lots of things that are naturally growing, and this particular milkweed vine does not. Across the street from this spot, I went to look, and what did I see? Something that looks like glue. At first I thought, is there still ice coming out of that storm drain into the Spout Spring Branch? No, it's not frozen there. It was 65 or 70 degrees on this day, which is March 21st, 2011. And that gook was just hanging there. And I've got several pictures of it from various angles. And then I went looking to try to figure out where in Walker Park did it come from. Well, I didn't have time to go all over Walker Park to see if there was some gook had recently been poured into a storm drain up there. Now you can see where it enters the Spout Spring. By there, it's looking just brown slop, and the water on the right coming down the main channel is obviously clear, very clear. You can see the bottom and little fish swimming, but this stuff is nasty looking. So I remembered at lunchtime I had seen a man emptying a bucket into a storm drain in front of his house up on South College. So I went up there and looked in a little while. In fact, I forgot that for a while. And then it clicked. Well, that could be. It's upstream or slightly uphill from this point. Maybe it goes into through the park storm drain all the way down there. It's just across the street from there. And so after taking these pictures and going home and pondering the subject, I drove back over to see what it looked like where I'd seen him pour that. And there it is. That's the storm drain entry. And notice it's still wet. There's brown yellow gook and what appears to be paint. And if you ever look at paint in a can, sometimes the oil separates out, and it may have sat and congealed into this gel material, because that looks very much like what's coming out downstream, nearly a half a mile to the west. Well, I'm not saying it is, but if I had a testing kit and knew how to use it, I'd need a chemist for this. But anyway, this is why we need the streamside protection ordinance. People should know not to do anything near the stream and always have a barrier so that anything spilled on their property, and particularly on these streets, it should be kept away from our watershed, from our main streams. Beaver Lake would appreciate it. Till next time, this is Aubrey Shepherd asking you to do your part to help do all these things I talk about.